Hey guys, this is Zlewikk. Another Tinto Talks. So, a dev diary for a game called Project Ceasar, which everyone knows that is EU5. Today we'll discuss a bit more about religions, but I'll also walk you through Tinto Maps that was posted last Friday and was all about Iberia. So first of all, we are presented with the religions map mode. We've got a lot of enemies. You see there are Catholics, Orthodox. Obviously Lithuania is not Catholic yet. There are Sunnis, there are Shias, Hindus, Mahajanas, Tengri, etc, etc. Let's take a look what Johan is telling us about the religions. So first of all, obviously a country will have a state religion, but the religion will be very much linked to pops. Each pop or character, to be characters in this game, will have their own religion. So see for example an example of Aragon, where you see there's 86% of Catholics, which is our true faith, and we have a kindred approach towards them. Why they have kindred approach towards us? There's Sunnism, 11%, enemy approach on each way for us their heavens, and Judaism with 2%, which is having a negative approach on both ways. Every religion will belong to a religion group, like Christian and paganism, so it's same as in EU4. Obviously religions within the same group will consider each other a heretic, while a different religions will be considered heathens. Also same as in EU4. Every religion has a specific view of other religions as well, so that's what we've seen. How we do view them, enemies, and how they view us, also enemies. That ranges from kindred to enemy, which impacts relations between the countries or different faiths, and how certain populations of another faith are viewing our country. Obviously there's a tolerance of the true faith, tolerance of heretics, and tolerance of heathens, and this impacts on how happy or angry the population will be depending on which country they belong to. So it's also kind of like in EU4, with a difference that in EU4 it impacted a province, while in EU5 it's gonna impact first of all the pops, which then will impact a location and province. Here's an example from where you can get tolerance of the true faith. So there's obviously a base value, 3 like in EU4, and then some other modifiers, like for example there's a law that is impacting this, called same religion. The religious unity of your country will have a really large impact on the satisfaction of the clergy state. Important to know is that in Project Ceasar you do not just send missionaries to your locations and eventually they have changed religion like in EU4. Here conversion is a slower process which relies on government activities and infrastructure, and I think the best game that we can compare it to is again Imperator Rome, where you have different buildings that are impacting this. In Imperator Rome you got to have different local government laws that are impacting this, and also the conversion was about the pops and it took a lot of time. So I'm expecting something similar. Here's an example of a building, the madrasa, that is gonna help you just a little bit with the pop conversion speed. This I think we already discussed, right? Difference between heretics and heathens. Here we got the list of the religion groups that we'll be having. So there's Christian, Muslim, Eastern, Dharmic, Zoroastrian, Manichaean, which was a religion from around Iraq and Persia as far as I remember, Judean, Andean, and Pagan. Let's take a look at the picture of the religions map mode. You see, so there's Sunni, Shia, I think these are Zoroastrians. These are just different Christian religions within the Christianity. So we've got Anglicanism, Bogomilism, Christianity, Calvinism, Catholicism, Hussitism, Lollardy, Lutheranism, Miaphytism, Nestorianism, Orthodox, and Stringolnictwo. So see, there will be many more than we've had in EU4. Now you might ask, how much of content we're gonna have of the religion? Because yeah, it's cool to have religions, but what about them? They are telling us that while in a lot of PDX games, the religions is just some small modifiers that might impact your nation, like it was mostly in EU4 at release. Just I think really few religions had some actual mechanics like papacy for Catholics. Here they are telling us that a lot of the religions will have their own mechanics. Unique mechanics will have Catholics, Orthodox, Miaphysitism, Protestants, Muslim, Buddhists, Shinto, Nahod, Hindus, and Inti. while the other religions, they will just some have base modifiers, and I just expect that over time they'll just keep adding more unique mechanics, not only for DLCs, but I even expect before the release to be some new ones during the development. Now, every religion will have some modifiers that describe them. In many cases, it is things that enable or disable certain mechanics. So, for example, countries with Jain as a state religion cannot start wars without a casus belli, while Calvinist countries will never reroll the dice in a battle, as everything is just preordained. I want to see that in action. But yeah, this is all for today. Next we'll talk much more about another new mechanic to EU5. And for today I will be getting some comments in the comment section from Pavio, not Johan, because Johan is busy. But before I jump into that, I want to walk you through the Tinto maps and some of the new stuff that we learned since my last video. First of all, Johan said in the Tinto maps comment section that around 40 to 60% of the population in Europe will die to Black Death very early into the game, and there will be also many other disasters that will kill pops, as famines and wars are not kind to the population in the game. Luckily, humans tend to enjoy making babies, and pre-1800th century adult women gave birth to 4 to 6 children on average. We were discussing that a few Tinto talks earlier, that is gonna make the process of building up your nation in EU5 much different to EU4. In EU4 you just keep scale, bored to death, change the game. Scale, bored to death, change the game. In EU5, if you play in Europe, you scale, scale again from the start. Like, you go backwards and you start scaling, so it's gonna slow down the gameplay a bit. It's gonna make it much more challenging for you. Here's also a Reddit map from Ponury Wojtek that's on how like HR is gonna look like, with all of the names here based on the previous dev diary. This is just lovely. If you want guys to check it, just look for the Ponury Wojtek post on EU4 Reddit. This is just so lovely. Some mad lad also on Reddit did piece together all of the maps we received so far for EU5 and how Europe is gonna look like. This is just lovely. You can expect so much from this game. I know under each Tinto talks I'm getting, oh yeah, my computer's gonna burn. Well, probably weak computers will not handle it, but I'm having really big faith into the updated engine of the game. Because I think the problem with EU4 and how fast it goes in late game is not your PC, it is engine that is not handling that. Even the best PCs can have issues. So if the engine is gonna be updated and better, most of you guys should enjoy EU5 without lags that you experience in EU4. That is at least my expectation, and I hope that is gonna come true. Let's jump to Tinto maps then. So we're seeing a map of Iberia, just, you know, I was having some doubts on like how gloomy the map mode is, and it looks better and better every time you look at it, and I'm getting used to this, but I still think it could be more vivid. You know, the colors could be more vivid like in previous EU games. This is just too gloomy and too close to Victoria 3. But yeah, this is the country's map mode, so you see we're having Morocco in Southern Iberia, I've got Granada, there's Navarra, but there's even Andorra if you look closer, and is this Mallorca owning these provinces? If you want to read more in-depth information about the political map mode, you see it's all explained here. And you see that is a kingdom of Mallorca that is being ruled by a cadet branch of Aragon since half a century ago. That is also has a couple of northern possessions centered on Perpignan and Montpellier. These two here. A mantle full of locations. Always good. They're saying that they wrote that there are some locations that could be added here and there, as it was a first map they created, and they weren't completely sure about the location density they would like to have in the game. These are the provinces, which, again, it is very similar to EU4, I would say just a bit lower amount of the provinces, but we've got locations. We've got the terrain, we've got the Oceanic, Arctic, in the Wasteland Hill, Continental, Mediterranean, cold, arid itself, then we've got plateau, flatlands, hills. I don't think we have anything new, mountains, We've got grasslands, farmlands, woods, sparse. I don't think we saw sparse before. Iberia has one of the most complex terrain feature distributions in the entire world. We also discussed this week that we are not very happy about the vegetation distribution, which will be reworking. So feedback on this topic is especially very well received. And about feedback, I'll show you in a second that based on your feedback, guys, in the forum, they reworked the cultures and other stuff of the lowlands that they presented in the first Tinto maps. So guys, your feedback is very appreciated by them. Here goes the cultures. It's got Portuguese, Castilian, Catalan, maybe the colors could be different, Aragonese, Basque, Andalusi, and there's obviously also some Astur-Leonese. Quite standard cultural distribution here based on the different languages of Iberia. Astur-Leonese was still a language back in that time, although close to being packed by Castilian after one century of joint ruling. The Andalusi represent not only the Muslim inhabitants of Granada, and the Strait of Gibraltar, but also the Medellin community spread throughout much of the territory. I see this with these lines. This is representing the Andalusian minorities. Religions, where most of it is Catholic, but obviously there are still people of Muslim religion living there, like we've seen for the Aragon. Was it like 18%? And we've got the raw goods. Oh my god, this is so much work to prepare that. I really do appreciate that. Markets, so we've got a Sevilla market, a Barcelona market, and Algeciras market that is being here with us. This current distribution of markets, please take into account that this is based on the current gameplay status of the system and that it won't necessarily be this final status. We tested in previous iterations having market centers in Lisbon and Burgos, but they weren't working as we wanted. That's why we only have market centers in Sevilla and Barcelona. As the markets are dynamic, it might be possible to create new market centers, so Portugal player might want to create a new market in Lisbon after some years, although having access to the market of Sevilla is just if you have enough merchant capacity. We got pops, so you see actual amount of the people, and again, around, I think that was the question about this, and half of this will die in the Black Death. And next week we'll talk about France. Well, yeah, I want to still show you, there's just so much to talk about if you create one video a week. I want to show you how they rework the cultures based on the feedback from the people. There it is, a post from Dulaman96 on Reddit. Before that change, like how they presented it to us 2 weeks ago versus after feedback from the people. This is guys showing how much they're listening to the community. Even like terrains, you see, it's also changed. Even trade goods also changed. Everything got updated based on the feedback. So as long as you have historical resources and you can prove that you're right and the paradox is wrong with some of the stuff, go ahead and help them. We all want this game to be successful, and this is helping them do that. Comment section of the Tinto Talks Europe. Honey, it's time to pay your thief. Yes, honey, Mima Asia. Honey, it's time to keep us loyal. Yes, honey. A classic. Suddenly, wait, are they saying it's a Hindu Australia? I think because the colors are not always clear, it might be that this is a different religion. Like, it was supposed to be a Andean religion and has the same color as Animist. Since it's a religion topic, just less than 2 hours after the post, 21 pages of comments. I think, yeah, the religions are always a source of a lot of discussions. Well, could say things, but although a bit disappointed by the return of animism, it might be a bit too demanding to us to present every single ethnic religion, but any chance you could at least group them regionally into the different varieties. Yeah, some basic changes might be worth it for the people, and then over time the DLCs you can just add more content based on the regions. This is an interesting note. Finns have their own Sami shamanist religion, and half the world is classified as during animist. I think it's a bit of an over-exaggeration by saying half of the world. What is the reason making Sami shamans unique, meanwhile Africa and America having same religion? Wait, so we got to have a goddamn Atlantis below India, and Venice can't be an island? Hellenic? Norse? There were a few Norse pops in 1337 and therefore in the setup, but currently is one of the work in progress regions only with modifiers, as there are others considered a higher priority at the moment. We might assume Animist might have a bit more flavor in the release. Please consider changing the wastelands on South America. Some of the Brazilian does not make sense at all. There will be a future Tinto maps for South America, so your feedback will be appreciated there. I hope that this number will increase until launch, it seems good as it is. I'm hopeful that they will have more intricate gameplay mechanics than the other ones that exist in EU4, but there's a markedly small number of religions with unique mechanics here than in EU4. Well, you should be comparing to release. And Johan is saying that, oh, Johan is here. Only Sikhism, Totemism, Fetishes, and Tengri are missing. So you mean that these are missing unique mechanics? I think so, because I saw Tengri on the map. Kinda we should have divided instance similar to how divided Christianity. There is some more work to be done regarding Islam before considering it final. Fingers crossed, guys, because in EU4 we've got, 3 main branches. Like, we've got Sunni, we've got Shia, we've got Ibadi, and then each of them have their own schools as well. We'll see how it's gonna be developed in EU5. I assume it's gonna be different. A question about the dice rolls, so Johan is just confirming it's just similar to many games that had this mechanics. So dice re-rolls in a combat every X days in most of our games. And guys, trust me, EU4 without dice rolls, or more like stable dice rolls, I tested it like 4 or 5, it's the most boring combat system ever created, so dices are making it interesting. Again, a confirmation that there are Norse pops. A question about animism, there will be more religion variety and the mechanics as we add more content. So guys, don't worry, just let's hope that they will add this more content before the release. Totemism and fetishism, for all its many flaws, go a long way towards not lumping together thousands of different religions and cultural practices into the really weird umbrella of animism. Yes, and we will keep adding religions. It's like the third time they are saying, yes, there will be more, don't worry. For now, we are just getting what they have in development, and this is the place for your feedback. That was the comment I was showing about return of animism. That is the plan. You may notice that not all pagan religions are considering animism, but it's very work in progress at this moment. Please take this into account. What is the reason making Sami Shamis The reason is this is work in progress. A confirmation though with pie charts for religions. Let's go. It was in the Tinto Talks, right? That there will be Inti religion. Andean, I think it was called, so it won't be animist. The map looked weird, and Pavia is confirming, yes, it will have a unique religion. How accurate is to represent China's religion as Buddhist? We think so. More details about this representation when we fully disclose the Buddhist mechanics in the future. Wasn't China Buddhist in 1.0 EU4? I do recall something like that, like Confucian was added later? Or I might be wrong, or it could have been a different EU game. What about places where religion was still not really organized? In Japan, Confucianism, Buddhism and Shintoism coexisted, and both religions relied on each other in many things. The Japanese main religion is Shintoism, but it includes some Buddhist features. What about Chinese religions such as Taoism and arguably Confucianism? In EU4, Confucianism was a broad term for all religions in China, and I feel like the pop system could greatly showcase the rich religious landscape of China. There will be mechanics for Confucianism and Taoism. From my understanding, they won't be separate religions. This week, no replies from me, I'm busy in a meeting. Pavel will do it. Replies anyway, Johan, you're a legend. He is currently bored of the management thingy. I think Armenia is represented by a separate patriarchy. Did Ethiopia and Armenia consider each other heretics? Both Ethiopia and Armenia share the Miaphysite religion, and there is an autocephalous patriarchate in Ani. You may have noticed that North Africa, Middle East and Central Asia don't have stripes. That's because we haven't added the minorities there yet, which will be an extremely fun task for one of our content designer this summer. I am very disappointed in the Islamic. Come on guys, it's just work in progress. Faiths remain the homogeneous blobs they are in EU4 and on the attached map. There's a wealth of local movements that could be represented, and it's particularly bad for Shia, as in relation to the Shiite sects can vary radically in theology and doctrine. They won't be as homogeneous in a few weeks. Guys, just keep giving good feedback. They're working on this. They want to make it successful, and they want to make the game to have as much content as possible, so people will not be annoyed like, oh, it's a bourbon game, and again, Paradox, why you do this to us? I bet there will be these people anyway, because there are always such people. They will not open a game and say that, but I have really big hopes on what I've seen so far. Somebody saying, oh, you're not saying much, this is useless, But what Pavel is saying that the approach is that it's a good idea to present a general view of the religions, gather early feedback, work to finish and polish them, and then present the full features on each and discuss in the future dev diaries. That's how I read it as well. This is early stage, but in a year or so they'll present to us, okay, this is how the religions are really gonna look like on the release. Shaman is in, but no Jains or Buddhists in India. There are Jains, Mahayana, and Theravada Buddhists in India. Did somebody really already colored the map with this? The added stripes, making better colors, or is it? Wow, somebody had time to do so. They added, actual colors from EU4 to these religions. Is Confucianism a religion like in EU4? Is it something else? It will be something else. There's a confirmation that there will be religious holy sites, so something not really represented in EU4, but it is, for example, an amazing feature in Imperator Rome. But yeah, I think that was expected. Religions equals a lot of discussions, especially for such a complex religion like Islam. All of the Eastern regions, like how to represent China or Japan, like where many regions coexisted, but obviously they want to make the best work out of it, so let's get fingers crossed. And if you are getting your fingers crossed, remember to leave a like on this video, because it does help to reach more people with this good news, and subscribe to the channel to get notified about the future Tinto Talks. Bye bye!